Currently we have filtered where all sales are above 10,000. If I just take you back to our original calculation, if sum of sales is greater than 10,000. The problem is that 10,000 there is a hard-coded fixed figure. The end user can't edit it. They might want to see everything where it's 5,000. So the best way to do that is by using a parameter. And you can see dimensions, measures, and we've got parameters right at the bottom. And you can see two parameters already set up. We alluded to them earlier, churn rate and the new business growth. So let's set up a new parameter. We don't even need to see the parameters for this. We can just right and click in the measures, for example, and we've got create parameter as an option. So let's click that. So this tells us a few things. First of all, what do we want to call this parameter? Well, I want to call this bottom limit of sales, let's call it. And we can add a comment if we want to. We can document it. This shows the minimum level of sales that we want to show on the map. Now we can say what sort of data type is going to be: float, integer, string, boolean, date or date time. I'm going to make this an integer, so in other words a whole number. And its current value 10,000. And display format, we've seen the formats before. So it can either give a list or range or all allowable values. Let's keep it to all for the moment and click OK. So we now have a new parameter down here, bottom limit of sales, which does absolutely nothing. Parameters are only good if they're only useful if they are used in a calculated measure. So let's go to our calculated measure. Our sales more than 10,000. We'll edit that and we'll change this 10,000 for bottom limit of sales. So click OK, and our sales more than 10,000 goes through to filter our sales more than 10,000, which is filtered, and it now works. So if we change this parameter to 5,000, notice what happens to the number of circles that we've got. We instantly get more circles. So this now is really misnamed because it's now filtering on sales above 5,000, but never mind. So if we now go into presentation mode, we still have no opportunity for the end user to be able to edit this limit. So we need to correct that. So press escape. And if we right and click on the parameter, we've got show parameter control. So the control over the right hand side gets shown. So now we can change this to 10,000. We can change it to 15,000. If we go into presentation mode, there it is as well. So we can change it to 20,000. So you can see the dots getting fewer or fewer. Alternatively, we might want to change it to 1,000 and get quite a lot of marks. I'm calling them dots. Technically they're not marks. And technically this is known as a card, by the way. So this is the marks card and the filter card, and you can see that if you use the drop down you can select hide card. But now you might want the end user to be able to type in a figure, or you might want there to be a list or range. So if we have a range, we can have a range of values from 0 to 20,000 with a step size of 1,000. So it will go 0, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 and so forth, all the way up to 20,000. So now if we go to presentation, nothing's changed. You still have to type in the figure. To change that, click this drop down button and we change from type in to slider. So just because we have set the parameter to be able to use values doesn't actually mean that the input changes. Now change it to slider, now we've got the 0, 1000, 2000. So go into presentation mode. Notice it doesn't actually change it on the fly, you have to release the mouse button before it does. And you can go up and down using the steps. Notice now you're not able to actually type in, this is now disabled. So the alternative way we were looking at was a list. So here's our list, but we might say, well, I don't want 11,000, 13,000. Once we get to 10,000, I just want it in higher values only. So we click this X button on the values we don't want. Oops, never mind. Click OK. And now you can see the list goes to 10,000 and then jumps to 12 to 14 to 16 to 20. So you can allow every single value, or you can have a range which goes from or to, or you can really redefine it and say I want it to be these specific values and no others. So very versatile. The parameters allows for the end user to alter exactly what they're seeing very easily and allows you to put them into your formulas.